Good morning, good day. April 14, 2019. Michael interviews Sandra about the book Game Changer, published in January 2019. It's a big day for us. Marks the beginning of our commitment to the Game Changer YouTube channel. Okay, I'm here with co-author of our book, Game Changer, Sandra Morin. My name is Michael Hellier. And in this segment or video, I'm going to interview Sandra as to why the reasons she wrote the book. I'm new to this, so kind of bear with me, right? So without further ado, Sandra, I'm going to ask you to tell you a little bit about yourself so you can start, and then I'll interject with some questions because I have some specific questions. So anything you want to just sort of say about Sandra before I get going?
Well, Sandra Alexei Morin, I'm an author, I've been a teacher, I'm a spiritual counselor, I've done spiritual work for probably over 50 years now, and Game Changer was a big thing for me because all my life it's been the self-discovery process, okay? And so I find that the more you get to know yourself and understand yourself, the more you connect in a spiritual way, the easier your life will go. Okay, so I've worked with literally thousands of people, helping and assisting them on their path. So a few years ago I realized, because I do astrology, numerology, there's so many challenges with relationships. There's so many challenges with children coming from divorces, okay? And what I realized, one of the big things is our first relationship is with ourselves. Our second relationship is basically with the partner that we choose in life, and the divorce rate is really high. Right now there's a lot of, especially younger men, that don't even want to date women because there's major challenges. And I realized that in a spiritual way we were moving into a different frequency. So I'm sure everybody's heard we're in the age of Aquarius, the age of Pisces. We were really in the age of Pisces where it was more codependent, okay? And the new model of relationships, which Game Changer is all about, is about having an interdependent relationship. So it's two people that come together who have more of a wholeness. So when you're born, you're dependent, okay? When you leave your home, you become independent, okay? And whatever age. I just know 18 to 20, you finished high school, you usually go out on your own, go to university. Then what you do is you're going to get a career, start taking care of yourself, become independent, okay? Once you're independent, then you can get into an interdependent relationship. If you're not really independent, you're going to find somebody and you're going to have a codependent relationship. And so that hasn't worked. So the whole new model of relationships is very Aquarian, okay? Which is, it's two people that know themselves, have spent time alone, who have connected to the divine, and now get into a relationship. Which sounds like kind of utopia, an ideal situation for relationships. But there still is a struggle because everybody's working towards it. Okay, and spirituality is big for me. You need to connect with spirit, whatever your spiritual denomination or whatever you want to say is, and do any kind of shadow work, either from a past life, this life, whatever. So basically, that's one of the reasons that for me Game Changer was important. It was my own personal self-discovery, and I'm 71 this year. And I see my own children who are in their 50s, watch them go through it, and watch my 5 grandchildren and 1 great-grandchild now that will all go through the same process. So I don't care who you are, what status you come from, because you come in alone, you leave alone, and this is your soul work. The materialism isn't satisfying at the soul, so people are looking to find some kind of spiritual peace. That's it.
Okay, so I think I'm going to run through my questions that I had for Sandra. She may have already answered some of what I was going to ask. So I'm going to run through the first question, and then you'll take it from there as to what you might have, you can
missed.
add to this, right?
Yeah.
So what is your background and experience that brought you to a place in your life where you felt comfortable and wise to write this book in a meaningful way?
Okay. Well, a couple of things. I was born into a very, I would say, harsh environment. So at the age of 2, I remember looking at myself as a child, and I'm 2 years old, little white hair, thinking, oh my God, this is going to be a tough one. Okay. I was also born with something called the veil or the call, okay, which means that you have a second sight. I started working when I was 13. I have taken care of myself the whole time. I was in business for years. I made lots of money, had lots of material possessions, that type of thing. Went through a point where I lost everything, realizing that it's not about what you own, material possessions. It's who you are once you lose everything. Then I had a near-death experience, which I struggled with. I was told that I would be in a wheelchair within 5 years. Obviously, I didn't. I've had a blessed life. I've been a stylist, I've been a mother, I've been a grandmother, I've been a spa consultant. I have gone and got an education degree when I was in my 30s. I taught for 5 different school boards in Alberta. I lived on the Big Island of Hawaii for a while, worked in the model and fashion industry, built day spas, was over in Muscatine. So I feel I've had a really diverse experience. Plus, I was single for 22 years. Never lived with a man, took care of myself, and did have relationships. And then one day I just woke up and said, okay, I think it's time now, because I was this journey on relationships, what's it, a relationship with self, to find out, because I was always told, until you're in a relationship, you're going to be triggered to even do more of your self-discovery work. Okay. And so I decided, and that's basically when I met Michael. And so the book organically unfolded because of both of our own personal experiences, what divorce did to the soul, to the family, to the children, that type of thing.
Okay, like I said, we're new to this, so I'm just going to point out to Sandra that the camera's over there and it's not on our computer, and we have a screen set up in front of us, so if you're getting kind of the side profile of Sandra, that's why.
All right.
Okay, so my next question to Sandra would be, how long did this book take to write, and what was the process?
It took, about 2.5, 3 years. And the process was, we had gone to Mexico for 3 months and we did some work there. And then after that, we would work at 7 o'clock every morning, because I would be in Alberta, he would be in BC at times. And we just went through the whole process of writing it. So it was writing it, figuring out what chapters, where they needed to be, what the flow was. Then it was typing it all up and then putting it together and then looking for either a publisher or a literary agent. So it was a big process. It took a lot of time. Something I realized is once we got it, once it became live, as they say in the publishing industry, in January, that's a percentage, about 30 to 40%, and now it's to share the message with everyone. And that's where we're at right now.
Okay, moving forward. You may have already answered this question. I'm going to ask it again because I had it down. Why did you write this book?
I wrote the book because I see that so many souls are really tormented, and they're lost and they're confused in their pain. Number 2, I believe that the key to light is getting in touch with self. So it's all about the self-discovery process. As far as I'm concerned, we talk about mass consciousness. Most people are asleep, and they're struggling every day. They're struggling in relationships, they're struggling in career, struggling in finances, struggle. Where you do not need to struggle. And this whole idea of the law of attraction, sitting back, I trained with Jerry and Esther Hicks, a lot of that don't work, okay? Because the bottom line is, at a genetic level, at the DNA, you can go and look it up. Carl Jung has something called the shadow work. Until you get your shadow, you're not going to go to your goal, which is to your light. So my whole premise in life is about freeing your soul so you can become the butterfly, okay? And if you look at butterfly, in Greek it means soul. So figuring out who you are, 2 questions: who am I and why am I here? And ego says, I'm here because I want to do this. No. Spirit says, you made a contract to come here. Let me help you find out who you really are, live on purpose, and guess what? Your life is going to flow so much easier. Basically, that's it.
Okay. What are your hopes and wishes for people who read it, and how do you think it will help them?
I really think if they read it, if they're ready, if they're open, okay, what it will do was they will find their purpose and their life will go easier. And to this date, I've done 7 book tours, and a lot of people that have purchased the book and have committed to the interactive exercises in there, they have found their lives changed, okay? And we will be having some video interviews of people that have found the changes, okay? So it's not a eye in the pie, it's going to work, it's a philosophy. No. Philosophies for me only work if you put them into your life and you can actually work, and so you can see the change. So that's why it's about self-discovery through transformation through self-discovery. You're not going to sit there reading a book. And spiritual work, finding yourself, is just like physical fitness. Okay?
Okay. My next question. Who do you think should read it?
Oh, I think everybody should read it. I think that every young person, and I was a high school teacher for over 20 years, is every young person should be reading it, especially because of the exercises. It takes them inward. Okay, everybody's always looking outward. It's an inward journey. I believe that anybody that's in relationship, first time, second, third, fourth, should read it. Doesn't matter what age you are, and people that are in blended families definitely should read it, okay? I guess I have a real, my soul is really touched with children, and it's because of my own experience as a child and working for 20 years in the teaching profession, and also doing all my spiritual sessions with people. I realize how the family dynamics have really done a lot. And I'm the first person that will say, you know, suck it up, buttercup, get over it, do it. But you have to do the spiritual work, and the soul is hurt. So, first marriages, second, third, fourth, blended families. I would buy it as a gift for anyone.
All right. What can people expect when they read this book?
What they can expect when they read the book is if they read it on purpose. Okay, so you can read through the whole book and kind of get a feel for it. It's not up to me how to say to do it. Okay. If you in fact take the time to work the exercises in the first chapter, it's an inward journey. So you'll find that you won't be spending a lot of time with your friends, yapping, blah, blah, whatever, because you're going within, okay? So it's an inward journey. And if you do the journey and you come out and you commit to it, you will find changes in your life, okay? It's just like if I'm going to go on a diet, okay? I'm going to go on a diet, I'm going to eat the same amount of food every day. It doesn't work. So if you really want to explore yourself, you really want to make some changes in your life, you will commit to this. And we have 3 very, very good endorsements from very powerful people. And the bottom line is the manuscript was sent to them and saying, if you think it's good, fine. If you think it's not good, please let us know. Okay, and they did their own journeys with it.
Okay, so that's awesome. So hang with us. We're getting down to the last few questions here, but I think they're important ones to set the tone for who we are and why the book was written. Now, do you believe there is a benefit that Game Changer was co-written by a male and a female?
Oh, definitely, definitely. And at every one of the book signings, okay, that was one of the things that everybody really liked. The people that purchased it, the people I taught to, it was like, because they liked it, we have a female perspective and we have a male perspective. Another thing is Michael and I tend to be different people, okay? He's very practically based and very creative and whatever, and I'm very creative. So I'm, for my strengths would be in creativity and the spiritual world, and I've had a challenge all my life is keeping myself grounded. That's the one thing that, because of my specific sign, I can get through it. My life would have been easier. And I'm going to interview Michael so he can tell you about his, but everybody likes the idea about the feminine and masculine energy. Okay.
Okay, now I got a question here that I thought about before I was going to ask it, but I think it really matters that I ask it. Do you believe that there was divine support and at times intervention during the process of writing this book?
Oh, definitely. My whole premise is the moment you step into spirit, there's two things you walk with. You walk with ego and you just keep struggling. You walk with spirit and spirit opens you up to divine intervention. Okay, of all kinds. I could write a whole book on that. Okay, I believe that Michael, you and I were meant to get together at that particular time in our lives. Okay, having families with other spouses, all different kind of things, all the experiences to be able to get to this point. So first and foremost, we were brought together. We had some divine intervention happen when we were in Mexico, and the whole process has been a divine process as far as I'm concerned. That could be a whole other book.
Okay, so that brings me closer to the end here. Now this book, Game Changer, was published in January 2019.
Yeah.
Where is this book available and in what forms?
Okay, this book is available on Amazon, and it's in Kindle, it's in hard copy, and it's in paperback. Okay, it's also available at Chapters, Indigo, Coles, and I'm just starting a new marketing plan with a lot of other people. But if you go to any store like Barnes & Noble in the US and you ask for Game Changer, they can order it in for you. We're pretty excited because it's going to be coming out on audio within the next 10 days. We have this fantastic YouTube channel that we're asking everyone to please subscribe to, because now we want to make this a real platform. So we're going to start interviewing people. You're going to be seeing the results of those people that have actually read it, and we will have different topics for discussion. Okay, so like I say, audio, we've covered all the bases that we can. We also have some really good self-discovery tools, because if you think of transformation through self-discovery, and basically Game Changer is the new model of relationships, is that if you contact us, we have many self-discovery tools, so we can help you individually, we can help you as a couple to see your compatibility, how things are going, even the business compatibility.
Okay, can it be bought directly from our publisher?
Oh yes, you can purchase it right from Friesen, so you can go on to Friesen Press out of Victoria, their website. And if you purchase it from them, I believe that it's a little less expensive, but you in fact have to get 3 of them because your shipping will be more expensive than getting it from Amazon.
So 3 or more, it makes sense then,
it makes
perhaps,
sense.
to get it from Friesen.
Yeah, they make great gifts. When I was doing the book tour, there was people that had been divorced or thinking of divorce, and it was around Valentine's Day. They were buying, one lady come in and she bought 4 copies. Another man bought 5 hard copies and was giving them away as gifts. Make excellent gifts. So bridal season's coming up. What better gift than to give that to somebody at for their wedding or for a shower gift, birthdays, all that kind of thing.
Okay, so now Sandra and I didn't rehearse these questions. They kind of came, I made them up, and so I think we've covered nearly everything that I could think of. I'll just leave it in closing with Sandra if she has anything else that I may have missed. Any last remarks?
No, I think that was pretty good. I think you did good with the questions. So this was where Michael was interviewing me. So the next video is I'm actually going to interview him. And what I would ask is, number 1, if you would subscribe to the YouTube channel. Number 2, if you have any questions of either of us, please put it in the comments, or you can get a hold of me if you check out mypersonalmuse.com. You can email me on that. Does that sound good?
Yeah, and if you have any experiences with the book,
right.
It's been out now since January, and there's a number that's been sold. We'd like to hear, how this book has helped in any way. It's worthwhile, certainly. So.
Maybe we could interview.
We could do an interview for sure. Okay. So in closing, thank you very much if you stayed right through to the end. I know this is a little bit long, but these are important questions, and it's an important book, and it's important you get to know who we are and trust what we're saying makes sense. So have a great day. Namaste.
Namaste.